105.5, The Splash. Splash FM 105.5.
Here is
105.5.
Accessing the
105.6.
one station, all the hits.
105.5. Splash.
Quick, Charger 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
BBC Minute.
First, new research has further revealed the devastating impact of Syria's civil war on the country's youth.
The International Red Cross spoke to hundreds of Syrians aged between 18 and 25 and found that nearly half have had a close family member or friend killed.
Many have lost their homes and had their education curtailed.
Next, Russia has restricted the use of Twitter in the country by slowing down its speed.
In Saudi Arabia, Loujain Al-Hathloul, the women's rights activist who was released from captivity last month, says that she's hoping that her sentence will be changed. She was speaking on her way to a second appeal against a travel ban.
In coronavirus news, officials in Pakistan say educational institutions in several cities, mostly in Punjab province, will be closed for 2 weeks from Monday due to a surge in cases. A new World Alliance launches today. Its aim is to ensure vaccines against any newly emerging diseases are developed within 100 days. Microsoft founder Bill Gates amongst those funding the project.
11:29 G.
BBC Minute.
Quick, Charger 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
Good afternoon. This is the 1 p.m. news from Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. First news headlines. NLC to begin nationwide protest today over wage reclassification. President Buhari flags off $3.2 billion Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line. On the foreign scene, Queen Elizabeth expresses sadness over Harry, Meghan revelations. And in sports, Manchester United to face AC Milan in Europa League battle of recovering giants. Those are the headlines. Now the news in detail. The Nigeria Labour Congress has said it will begin a nationwide protest today with its allies over moves by the National Assembly to remove the national minimum wage from the exclusive to the concurrent legislative list. The Umbrella Labour Union said this in a press release in Abuja by its head of information and protocol, Benson Upa. The NLC said the protest will hold in the 36 states' houses of assembly. The British government has agreed to return to Nigeria £4.2 million, being part of the funds so far recovered from family and friends of former Delta State Governor James Ibori. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Katriona Lang, who disclosed this in Abuja, said this was the first tranche of such planned returns. Lang, who spoke at a ceremony for the signing of a memorandum of understanding between both countries in Abuja, assured more of such recoveries from the Ibori case would be returned to Nigeria in due course. She noted the Ibori case is complicated and the United Kingdom authorities were still working on the total actual amount involved in the case.
So how much is at stake? Well, this first tranche of money is £4.2 million. And this has been recovered from the friends and family of a certain former governor of Delta State, known to you all, Mr. James Ibori. He was trusted by the people of Delta State to be their governor for 2 terms. Sadly, he did not deliver on his mandate. He stole money that should have been used for roads, for hospitals, and for other developmental purposes. So the federal government of Nigeria's anti-graft agencies have been working very hard with us to investigate James Ibori, and he was eventually located and faced a criminal trial in the UK. He pleaded guilty in a UK court, and he was given a prison sentence of 13 years. So these funds that we have secured the return of so far are from the friends and family of James Ibori. The case against James Ibori in terms of the amount to be returned directly from him is still ongoing. But the success of this case, and it is a breakthrough because these cases are extremely complex, is down to really effective mutual cooperation between UK and Nigeria. If we hadn't been able to work with partners, we would not be in this position today.
Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, who signed it for the country, disclosed that President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the returned loot to be deployed to completion of the second Niger Bridge, the Lagos to Ibadan Expressway, and the Abuja to Kano Expressway projects. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, explained why the loot recovered from Delta State Governor James Ibori will be used for federal projects.
With the law in contention that was alleged to have been breached is a federal law. That is a starting point. And then secondly, in dealing with international community and international diplomacy, the parties of interest are the states parties and not subnationals, are the national and not subnational governments that are involved. And with those backgrounds in mind, all the processes associated with the recovery are processes consummated by the federal government, and indeed the federal government is the victim of crime and not subnational. The law is a federal law that was alleged to have been breached, and then the parties are nationals and not subnationals, UK government where the money was eventually looted to, and then the Nigerian government that had pursued the recovery of such money. Whether Delta State government will benefit from it or will not benefit from it is a function of local law, but certainly the agreement as consummated by the parties is for the benefit of the for the Nigerian state as a victim of crime and not the Delta State government as subnational.
Meanwhile, the Delta State government yesterday faulted the decision of the federal government to spend the £4.2 million forfeited by associate of a former governor of the state, Chief James Ibori, on the completion of the second Niger Bridge, Abuja Kano Expressway, and the Lagos Ibadan Expressway under the coordination of the Nigeria Social Investment Authority, NCA. Delta Elders Forum, led by former Minister of Information, Chief Edwin Clark, also opposed the plan of the federal government to use the funds to complete roads in other states when federal roads in the state are in deplorable condition. The forum also found as unacceptable the argument of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, that the federal government is appropriating the funds because the offenders committed a federal offense, contending that in the similar case of forfeiture by former Governor of Bayelsa State, Chief Dipreye Alamesia, the repatriated funds went to the state. He stated that roads in Delta State were also in deplorable condition, adding that the federal government should know that the roads also needed attention. Ibori in 2012 had pleaded guilty to money laundering and other charges in a UK court and was consequently sentenced to 13 years imprisonment. The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASSAN, has given the 36 state governors till Monday next week to implement financial autonomy of the legislative arm of government. Speaking in a protest at the National Assembly to register their displeasure over the non-implementation of the said law on the financial autonomy for legislature, the national president, Comrade Mohammed Usman, accused the Nigeria Speakers Forum of connivance with the governors of subverting constitutions signed by President Muhammadu Buhari 2 years ago. He noted that the state governments are yet to implement the minimum wages for their members. Usman said PASSAN will have no option than to shut down all state houses of assembly nationwide if financial autonomy is not implemented in line with the wishes of the people.
What formed the basis of this rally today is because in the next 6 days, we are shutting down the whole State House of Assemblies. So we are letting our position known here to the National Assembly, to the Senate President, to the Speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that from now to the next 6 days, we cannot guarantee legislation because the whole State of Assemblies will be shut down. So it is important, and you word it of note to them, that between
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, represented by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Labour and Productivity, Senator Giwa Onafuwa, while assuring the protesting legislative workers, said their grievances would be resolved in earnest.
Yes, financial autonomy to the State Assembly is paramount and there's nothing to negotiate about it. If you want things to happen as far as this country is concerned, State Assembly must, and I repeat, must have financial autonomy. This will make State Assembly more effective for the dividends of democracy to be delivered to our own people at the grassroots level. We will not and will not accept.
Parts of the issues raised by the legislative workers include welfare of the workers, implementation of the financial autonomy and minimum wage for their members at the state level. The federal government says it has concluded plans to hold a national conference on integration of artisanal modular petroleum refinery operations in the country to improve the capacity of the products. The Senior Special Assistant SSA to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Ita Enang, disclosed this at a news conference in Abuja. Enang noted that the outcome of the summit would help to crash the prices of petroleum products in the country. He said that the aim of the conference was for the purpose of integrating local refining capacity into the refining of petroleum products such as petrol, kerosene, diesel, and other petrochemical products. President Muhammadu Buhari has flagged off the $3.2 billion Port Harcourt to Maiduguri narrow gauge railway reconstruction project with new branch lines to Owerri, Imo State, and Damaturu, Yobe State. The president, through his virtual address, informed that the project was with the objective of resuscitating the once vibrant railway transportation in the Eastern Railway corridor of the country, Port Harcourt to Maiduguri.
Maiduguri Railway will translate to reactivation of economic activities along the Eastern Corridor, which has been greatly affected by insurgent activities, and serve as a stimulus for industry and trade. The connection of the railway to a new seaport in Bonny Island and Railway Industrial Park, Port Harcourt, is designed to increase the viability and boost transshipment of cargo and freight locally across the West African sub-region and in the continental free trade area.
The project, which is to be co-financed by loan from a syndicate of Chinese financiers with federal government contribution of 15% project costs, includes the Bonny Deep Seaport and Railway Industrial Park. Port Harcourt are being developed through the direct investment by the conglomerate-led CECC Nigeria Limited, with a total investment portfolio of $3.2 billion. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State has appealed to the federal government to reopen the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, to allow for the resumption of international flight operations. This was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Abba Anwa, in Kano. The governor spoke when he led a delegation of legislators, business, traditional and civic leaders to pay a courtesy visit to the Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, in Abuja. He lamented that the continued closure of the airport was causing hardship to international travelers from the northern part of the country, as the action was severely impacting on ease of doing business in Kano. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has recorded 346 new cases of coronavirus, taking the total number of infected people in Nigeria to 159,252. The NCDC gave the figures on its official Twitter handle yesterday. The NCDC stated that the 346 new infections were recorded in 17 states and the Federal Capital Territory in the last 24 hours. The NCDC stated that Lagos recorded the highest number of new cases with 86 infections yesterday. Bauchi followed closely with 64 cases, and Kaduna and Kwara in third position reported 26 new cases each. While the FCT confirmed 24 infections, Rivers reported 23 and Plateau had 22 cases of the virus. Ogun reported 16, Ebonyi 14, Bayelsa 12, Cross River 10, Edo 8, Akwa Ibom 5, Ekiti 3, Gombe 2, Kano 2, Osun 2, and Delta with 1. He said that 554 people have been successfully treated and have been discharged from different isolation centers in the last 24 hours. It's still the 1 p.m. news on Splash 105.5 FM. Still ahead, Queen Elizabeth expresses sadness over Harry, Meghan revelations. And in sports, Manchester United to face AC Milan in Europa League battle of recovering giants. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you more stories, so please stay with us.
tí àjọ Search for Common Ground ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìrànwọ́ owó láti ọwọ́ àjọ European Union.
bí ẹ kò bá ra àwọn ohun èlò oúnjẹ yẹn máa kó àwọn ọmọ mi máa sì padà sílùú ńlá.
kí ni ó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ síṣẹ́ onídìrí rẹ.
olùkọ́ àgbà ọkùnrin yìí ni ó jí agolo gàrí kan lọ́dọ̀ ìyá Elisa.
kí wọ́n ní ìdí tí ẹ ṣe fẹ́ sun láàyè nítorí agolo gàrí kan àbí.
eré aládùn orí rédíò yìí àwa ara wa yóò máa wá sétí ìgbọ́ yín.
ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ìṣẹ́gun Tuesday.
láago 8 alẹ́.
lórí ìkànnì yìí Splash 105.5 FM.
ẹ kú ojú lọ́nà.
àwa ara wa là ń tọ́jú ara wa.
1965.
Welcome back to the news on Splash 105.5 FM. Now turning to the foreign scene. Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom has said the whole family was saddened to hear how challenging the last few years have been for Harry and Meghan. Responding to the couple's explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey in a statement released by Buckingham Palace yesterday, she added that the allegations of racism would be addressed by the family privately. According to reports, the document came amid claims that the palace is paralyzed with fear that Harry and Meghan could name the figure accused of commenting on Archie's skin color if it denies the royal family is institutionally racist. Buckingham Palace is under intense pressure to issue its response to a cascade of extraordinary and damaging claims made in the Oprah interview on Sunday night. China and Russia have announced plans to build a lunar space station. Russian space agency Roscosmos says it has signed an agreement with China's National Space Administration to develop research facilities on the surface of the moon, in orbit or both. A statement from both countries' space agencies says it will be available for use by other nations. It comes as Russia prepares to celebrate the 60th anniversary of its first ever manned space flight. A statement from both agencies said the International Scientific Lunar Station will carry out a wide range of scientific research, including exploration and utilization of the moon. Now turning to the sporting scene. Manchester United and AC Milan will meet in the Europa League last 16 on Thursday in a battle of European royalty, with both clubs showing signs of revival. With 10 Champions League titles between them, United and Milan were once feared across Europe for their swashbuckling play and financial muscle. In a sign of the dropping standards at Old Trafford and the San Siro, the 11th encounter between two of the world's most historic teams will be their first outside the Champions League knockout stages. United, 20-time English champions, have not won the Premier League since Alex Ferguson's last season in charge in 2013. Milan have never reached the final of the competition, but their striker, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, was a United player when the English Giants won the Europa League in 2017. All right, just before we go, a recap of the headlines. NLC to begin nationwide protest today over wage reclassification. President Buhari has flagged off $3.2 billion Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line. Queen Elizabeth has expressed sadness over Harry-Meghan revelations. And in sports, Manchester United to face AC Milan in Europa League battle of recovering giants. For more details on the news, visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS, BlackBerry World, and Google Play Store to listen live, get news updates, opinion poll, and also report an event live to us through the iReport feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.5, then click to download. We have now come to the end of the news on Splash 105.5 FM, the integrity station and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawowo, assisted by Chinwe Churchill. Good afternoon. Thank you for listening. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes.